What's going on, guys? It is now post-race. So I'm by no means a runner, nor is this video supposed to be about running. This video is supposed to be about showing yourself that you can do things that you never thought that you could. Because if you're new to this channel or you don't know me very well, this will be a great way for you to get to know me if this is the first video that you're seeing. I am just a girl who likes to do hard things, difficult things, challenge herself, and consistently sharpen her axe or pursue growth. That is why I do the things that I do. You might be like, oh, Megan, I don't ever want to run a marathon. It's not about running a marathon. It's about becoming the person that you want to become, because a lot of people that I talk to on the phone, a lot of people that resonate with my message, comment, DM me, whatever, are in a point of, yes, they want to alter their physique, but usually when we go back a couple layers, that point is something along the lines of wanting to be proud of themselves, have confidence. Because usually the physique is just the top layer. There are other things that they don't like. They're struggling with insecurity. They're struggling with their confidence. And that's important to me for a few reasons. Not just because I would hate to see someone in a position of feeling that way, but I used to feel that way. And so I know what it feels like. So of course I wouldn't want to see someone else struggling with that. But I also make these videos and do the things that I do in a way of being someone that younger me needed. If you sit here and watch my videos and you tell yourself, oh, she's just special, or she's just an athletic girl, you're only shooting yourself in the foot with that one. When we sit here and tell ourselves that that person is different and that's why they can achieve it, you're confining yourself to this mediocre level of success. And if you want to be that person, you want to be confident, you want to show up and be 100% you and not give a fuck what anybody thinks and achieve your goals, you have to stop coming up with an excuse to coddle yourself in the situation that you're in right now. And that's what old me used to do. I'm gonna go ahead and get into recapping race day and what the whole race looked like. We're gonna go ahead and discuss that in 3, 2, and I'm gonna go ahead and bring you to my office, 1. So I'm about 2 days out for my first marathon ever. I've never ran a marathon before in my entire life. And you may be wondering, Megan, why would you sign up for a marathon? Well, that is a great question, because my brain wants to be comfortable just like yours does. And I have to consistently push myself to get out of my comfort zone, do hard things. And I do that because I know that it literally will correlate directly to reaching your goals and becoming a better person, because when you level up, you get more out of life. So another reason why I'm running the marathon is because I tell you guys to do hard shit and be confident. And I want to be a testament to that statement, to show you that I also do it too and lead by example, because I at one point didn't believe that I could run more than like 2 or 3 miles. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to shift your mindset to achieve literally anything you want to, things that you thought you never could freaking do, because I used to think that I could never do those things. I've yet to run the race, but I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm going to cross that finish line. Hey guys, I just got these new shorts. I think these are going to be the race day shorts. I got them in a few different colors. So we're going to put them to the test today. All right, guys. So we are it's like pretty much race day. We're about 2 days out, like I just said 2 seconds ago. Today I'm just going to get in a quick little 3-miler just to get some movement in, just to sweat a little bit, just to get comfortable with my feet. Oh, I'm already comfortable with my feet. I've been walking since I was like fucking not 2. I don't know when I started walking, but that's not what I meant to say is what I'm trying to get at. Nutrition leading up to the race and all that stuff has been the usual carb cycling that I implement, and then obviously prioritizing protein, because when you're running long distances, you want to make sure that you're prioritizing protein so that you're not losing your muscle mass. You don't lift heavy and also prioritize protein. Your body's not going to have any reason to maintain that muscle mass because it doesn't think that it needs it, especially when you're running long distances, because your body's going to try its very hardest to be as efficient as possible. I don't know if you guys have seen some of the world's fastest long distance runners. I don't think they'll be stepping on a bodybuilding stage anytime soon. I don't mean that in a mean way at all, or I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I'm just saying scientifically. I'm really, really excited. I'm a little bit nervous, but again, have the courage to be uncomfortable, do things that freaking scare you and that you don't know if you're going to achieve them, because that is literally what is going to make you grow and give you everything you could have ever wanted. So when you find yourself scared of something, nervous, maybe unsure if you can do it, that is when you should lean further into it and actually work harder to get it, because I promise you, if you fail, you'll learn something from it. And if you succeed, you'll be so freaking shocked and you'll actually have way more confidence in yourself and you'll be able to achieve more and more goals. So I kind of want to dive a little bit into the reason as to why I'm actually running this marathon, because I'm not a runner and I'm not a bodybuilder or whatever. I have competed in a bodybuilding show. I've ran a half marathon. I like to do these things, but it's more so about the challenging myself always. And it's not because I want to be, you know, the fastest person on earth or the strongest person on earth or the leanest or whatever. It's not what that is. It's that the first time I ever did something difficult and I realized that I grew so much from that and it changed me, and the things that I learned from doing something that was hard, spending my entire life choosing the comfortable option, always being lazy, eating whatever I wanted because I used food to comfort myself when I had stressful situations or when I had to do hard things. The first time I ever did a hard thing, or the first time I realized that doing something difficult, specifically the thing that I did not want to do, literally made me a better person. Like, it brought me one step closer to my goals. I became addicted to pursuing self-growth. You guys may not believe this, but there was a point in time where I couldn't even imagine looking at a camera, posting a YouTube video, posting on social media or anything like that. I couldn't walk into a room by myself. I didn't want to be seen. I had to show up places early because I didn't want to be the first one walking into a crowded room or walking in there by myself. I had to wear the freaking baggiest clothes ever because I had the terrible relationship with my body. I was unhappy with my body. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I was unhappy with myself and my reality. And the reason that I found out much later on was that I basically thought I was a loser. Like, I thought I was a loser because I never did difficult things. I would always choose the easy way out, and it was self-sabotage, obviously, but I would never do hard things. Like, something as simple as waking up in the morning and making my bed. Like, and I would be so insecure in myself, and it'd be like, well, no shit, you can't even make your fucking bed. And that is why I couldn't achieve the goals that I wanted to achieve, because subconsciously, I didn't think that I was capable of it or worthy of it, because I literally couldn't do something as simple as making my bed, folding the clothes when they first came out of the dryer. Like, I couldn't do hard things. And when I understood that the only way to not feel like a loser and the only way to feel like I deserved more out of life was to continuously do hard things, I started doing them all the time, even on the days when I didn't want to do them, because I knew that on the days when I didn't want to do them and I showed up for myself, that was one tick towards confidence that I had. So long story short, that's why I'm running the marathon. I don't love running. It's going to be a battle. I'm probably going to be in pain. The last half marathon I ran left my feet in shambles. I can literally show you guys. So I've been walking around barefoot, so please don't judge my feet being... I know it's going to hurt. I know it's going to be hard, and I hate to say it, but that kind of excites me because I know it's going to force me to grow. I'm going to become mentally stronger. I'm going to build mental fortitude. And you may be like, oh, you know, it's a waste of time running a marathon. It's a waste of time going to the gym, making your bed, doing all those things. Like, I got a job to get to. I have a family. I've got money to make. I've got all these things. Having what it takes to do difficult things like run a marathon, build your dream physique, any kind of goal that you have is going to translate over into all the other aspects of your life and overall make you a better person. That's all. This physique right here is going to be running a marathon is going to be completing a marathon in 2 days, her very first one. What's going on, guys? We are 12 hours out from the start of the marathon, my first marathon ever. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. I see all your comments, likes, DMs, all that stuff. And I love my life. Don't say that to brag. I say it because I know half of that is you do, guys. I appreciate y'all so freaking much. All right, guys. We're at the start line. I'll see you guys post-race, post-finish. It's gonna be a distance PR for me. This is my beautiful, lovely girlfriend who is literally taking care of me all the time. Always, always does. I love you guys so much. I will see you post-race.
Yeah. Let's go!
Toss it.
Oh God, I can't throw back. Let's go! Yeah!
I hope I threw the right thing.
I hope I was recording. Meg just finished her first marathon.
Do hard shit. Be confident. Have the courage to be uncomfortable. Don't be a loser. I know you guys just saw me lose, but it's okay.
Dude,
Jesus.
you're insane.
That's so impressive.
All right.
Look at y'all go.
Oh, look at that one.
Oh my God, look at that.
Oh,
Hard, yeah, don't do that.
Oh! My favorite carb of choice. All right. So, guys, I now have y'all in my office. Don't mind the do hard shit, be confident on the back there. My friend wrote that. But let's go ahead and discuss the race. So starting off, it was already warmer than I had thought. So previously I ran the Houston Half, and this is my first marathon, so I really didn't know what to expect. Houston Half Marathon was freezing, and I had different shoes, so I wasn't sure what to expect, but I knew for a fact that I needed different shoes because I had some terrible, terrible blisters after the first half marathon. So I was like, that for sure. I need to tape my feet better, and then I also need to get different shoes. I ended up going to the store where they scan your foot and all that kind of stuff, and the shoes that I wore the shoes that I wore for the half marathon were ones that I didn't buy for, like, the one time that I didn't go to that specific store where they check your foot. I got some Hokas. Now, I didn't really do any research into it, which again was my fault. I should have done due diligence, but I didn't do any research into it, and I got some Hokas. Hokas apparently are not made, but like targeted towards people that have a bit of a higher arch in their foot. I have the flattest foot known to man. I don't know if you guys can see, it's pretty flat. Also, this blister, my toe's black. We'll get into that in a second, but I have the flattest foot known to man. So I was like, in this marathon, you know, I struggled a lot in the half simply because my feet were on fire. Like, it got to a point where I couldn't even think about anything apart from my foot. And it left a lot of blistering in the arches of my foot. So I was like, perfect, we're gonna get new shoes. I also struggled a lot with chafing in the half marathon, primarily between my thighs and a little bit right here. So I was like, okay, this time I'm going to use Body Glide, a little bit of Vaseline, which is what I normally do when I run, just to help make sure that none of that happens, because it does hurt. It doesn't hurt at first, but then after a while, especially the days after when you shower and stuff, it starts to burn really bad. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I don't like to run with headphones unless I'm alone, and I usually like to listen to maybe a podcast. It's almost like a cheat code. I'm getting my workout in, I'm getting my mileage in while also listening to a podcast about, something, whether it be about nutrition, mindset, whatever, something to help me learn. That's important because as a coach, I have to consistently keep growing. As much as I encourage my clients to grow, in order for me to do what I do for them, I have to consistently keep growing because what I do to them all the time, preach that they need to make themselves uncomfortable, do hard shit, be confident in themselves, always be chasing growth, pursuing growth, sticking to the plan, not getting in their heads. I have to be able to do that for myself and do those things if I'm going to be coaching people through doing that. That's obvious. I don't need to tell you guys that. But what I'm trying to get at here is that I have to consistently be learning and becoming better, not just because I always want to pursue growth and sharpen my axe, but also because I have a group of people that I'm leading and coaching through this that I owe it to them for me to consistently become a better coach. So that's kind of what it looked like preparing for the marathon. So I got new shoes, got some good socks, taped up my feet. I got a hat because my baby hairs tend to get in my way. I got sunglasses. I wear sunglasses that cover my entire face because I don't want to squint and I don't want any, I have very sensitive eyes. I don't want any sunlight getting into the sides. So I wear like those sunglasses that make me look like a bug. I don't know if you guys can see, I got a pretty gnarly tan. Can you guys see? Yeah, pretty bad. So I want to say that the first couple of miles, I'll put my pacing up here. I think that if you look at my mileage and the times, you can tell when the sun started to come out and then the heat was more than I had anticipated. Because I'm not sure right off the top of my head, but I know for the beginning of the race, I started pretty steady with a 9-ish, I was in the 9-ish minute mile pace range. And then as the heat progressively got worse, I started to struggle. So this was a bit of a smaller marathon compared to the Houston one that I ran just a few weeks ago, but it was the half. It was a bit of a smaller marathon. So, and I noticed that a lot of people were doing the half. So I knew that when it started to become, because it was a loop. So the half marathon did 1 loop and the full did 2. I knew that once we got into that second loop, it was going to become really like a really lonely road. So there was not many water stations that, I was expecting. There was pickle juice, water, and electrolytes. I had goos that I was taking every 30 minutes. I swear when I had that goo and some water, I felt like a whole brand new girl. So it really kept me going. But there was a point, I want to say it was maybe mile 17 or 18 where I hit that wall where I was like, fuck. It got really difficult. I started cramping. It got to the point where I was getting quad cramps that got so tight that it was affecting the hinging in my knee. So I would have to stop, use my elbow, try to rub it out a little bit. Again, I'm not a runner, nor did I formally train for this race. Like, I could maybe count on my hand the times that I ran in preparation for this marathon. Like, I think I ran 1 9-miler, an 11-miler, the Houston half marathon, and then maybe like 2 more 10-milers. I ran maybe 5 runs leading up to this long race, and I was just coming off my bulk. Previously, before those 5 runs that I did, the handful of runs, I hadn't ran long distances, and I want to say maybe 6 or 7 months. So again, this is not to say that I'm a runner or to tell you guys, hey, it's how you get better at running. This is more so about encouraging you to challenge yourself and do things that you don't know if you can accomplish, because 9 times out of 10, using me as the example, you will surprise yourself and you can unlock things about your mentality and things that you wouldn't necessarily learn or know about yourself had you not put yourself in a situation where you were tested. Miles, I want to say 14 through 20 were the hardest. That was the hardest part of the race. That was really where my everything was tested. It took literally pure grit. I had salt caked on my face. I was sunburnt. I was not expecting to be sunburnt. It was supposed to be cloudy, foggy. I didn't even wear sunscreen because it was supposed to be cold and cloudy. It was hot, and I'm burnt to a crisp. I don't even know if you guys can see, but I'm a little bit burnt. But also, I'm half Asian, so I don't burn really bad, or it doesn't look very bad. And I do have this funny looking sunburn. But that's besides the point. There's a few key things that I took from the marathon that I wanted to give to you guys in hopes to hopefully encourage you to continuously pursue growth, but more so start this journey of choosing difficult, hard things, recompositioning your body, losing body fat, building muscle, transforming into the person that you want to be, because the longer you wait, the more you're just going to be insecure and unhappy, and it's going to slow you down and you're going to be stuck. You're just going to be unhappy with life, and you want to get the most out of life, you have to force yourself to do it. No one's going to hand it to you or do it for you or and give it to you on a fucking silver spoon, because the whole point of it being worth anything is the fact that you have to work so goddamn hard to achieve it. So with that being said, the few things that I want to tell you guys are concepts that I got from the marathon in and of itself while I was running it was, number 1, I really struggled. I was like, how am I going to make it through this entire thing? Like, I'm struggling. I didn't really train for this. My feet hurt. I'm not even a runner. I'm coming off a bulk, so I'm not even lean. It's hot. And I stopped. I didn't actually stop. I just stopped my thoughts and I was still running. And I said, why do you even want to stop running? Like, your body's still going. It doesn't really hurt that bad. Like, you can keep going. Why do you want to stop? And I was like, oh, I'm just uncomfortable. I don't want to feel uncomfortable. I don't like this feeling. And I realized in that little mini conversation that I had, or that internal monologue in my head, was that I wanted to stop and give in simply because it was uncomfortable, simply because I didn't like how it felt. That's it. Nothing, there was no other reason, no reason valid enough for me to stop going. And it's like, if we were to sit here and think about all the times that we didn't do what we said we were going to do, stopped, a mile short, stopped halfway through a workout, didn't do X action, it would simply be because we didn't want to feel uncomfortable. And if we take a few steps back from that, you think about it and you're just like, why do I avoid the things that I avoid? Why do certain things make me anxious? Why does this scare me? Why don't I like this? And it's all centered around the fact that we don't want to feel certain things. We don't want to feel uncomfortable. Why don't I want to keep running? Well, it's uncomfortable and I don't like it and it's not necessarily pleasant. Why don't I want to go work out? Because I'm tired and it's, it takes a lot of effort and I just don't want to feel uncomfortable. I just don't want to. Like, I just don't want to. Why don't I want to spend a few hours after I get off work working on my side hustle, my business, my passion project, whatever? Why don't I want to do it? I'm tired. Okay, you just don't want to feel tired? Like, you just don't want to feel uncomfortable? If you ever want to achieve anything great, do anything, reach any goal, you have to put yourself to the test. You have to test yourself. You have to be okay with, okay, I'm not going to feel good doing this. But is it going to bring me a step closer to my goal? Yes. Every step I took, as it got hotter and I started to get more and more uncomfortable, I was like, okay, I want to stop. This does not feel great. Not once did I feel like I was $1,000,000. No, I felt awful. But I knew that each step, literally each step I was taking, was bringing me closer to mile 26.2. And that's a perfect analogy, metaphor, whatever, to show you that it's not going to feel good. It's going to hurt. The further you go, the more it's going to hurt, the harder it's going to be. But no matter what hurt I was feeling, objectively, each step I took brought me closer to the finish line. Apply that to next time when you're faced with the decision of, should I go, should I do this? Usually the decision that you're choosing between is, should I do what's going to bring me closer to my goals, i.e. go to the gym, work on said project, do said this, do that, whatever, or should I skip, rest, relax, whatever the fuck? Notice how one of them is the answer to bringing closer to your goals and the other one is literally you just trying to find a way out of being uncomfortable. And if you ask yourself and figure out why you don't want to do things, why do I want to stop, why, it will all boil down to you avoiding feeling something that isn't necessarily pleasant. It can even apply to like anything that's uncomfortable, confrontation, right? Breaking up, like I mentioned in the last video, breaking up with somebody because you know, number one, you're not going to marry them. Number two, the situation or the relationship probably doesn't serve you. Number three, maybe they're a fucking loser. Maybe they aren't who you want to be your boyfriend or girlfriend, husband or wife, whatever. I'm going to argue to say that a lot of you guys probably would be reluctant to break up or maybe prolong the breaking up or push it off for a few months because it's hard, it's uncomfortable, and you probably don't want to do it. And that is another good example as to why, if we were to make decisions based off logic, reason, and our goals, and not us not wanting to feel uncomfortable, we would be like, being cutthroat in that sense is so much more efficient at getting you wherever it is that you want to be. It just takes a lot of confidence and courage, and you don't build confidence and courage until you have those moments where you force yourself to be uncomfortable. You do hard things and you experience that point where you're uncomfortable, and instead of giving up and stopping running and stopping the workout and whatever, you take that split second to think, why do I want to stop? And you come to that realization, you understand that about yourself. That is literally it. Getting to your goals, point A to point B, regardless of what that fucking goal is just a matter of being able to have that moment of reflection when you are faced with a decision of giving up and quitting or going forward, and realizing that the only reason that you don't want to move forward is because you're uncomfortable, and that it's okay to be uncomfortable. Lean into that uncomfortability because there are answers there. There is literally a roadmap in that uncomfortability to get you to the goal that you're trying to get to. That's the first thing that I took away from the marathon. The second thing that I took away from the marathon kind of ties in with what I just said, or the ending point of number one, which is why I'm kind of segueing into the second part, is that the answers that you're looking for, especially when you're like, well, I don't know how to get there, I don't know what to do, I don't know, are probably going to be found in the mirror. It's not that you don't know what to do, because a lot of getting to your goal building your dream physique, losing fat, building muscle, is doing the simple things over and over for a long period of time, being consistent rather than being perfect. The reason why that is so difficult, even though it's simple, is because people don't have that discipline, that consistency, and they get uncomfortable, and then it leads them to make decisions that take them away from doing those simple things over and over again, even when they don't want to, for a longer period of time. That is why it's difficult. So it's not that you don't know what to do, because what there is to do to reach any goal, especially building your dream physique, is just doing it over and over and over again. So it's not that you don't know, it's that who you are doesn't possess the qualities or the principles that are needed in order to execute on said actions for the time period given. You have to become more disciplined. You have to become less lazy. You have to want it more. You have to show up for yourself and be okay with being uncomfortable. And in doing those hard things and having the courage to be uncomfortable and all that kind of stuff, it allows you to learn what it is that you are avoiding. Okay, for me, it was feeling uncomfortable, feeling hurt. That's what I was avoiding. Being able to accept feeling that way and feeling those things allowed me to go further. So yeah, I'm running this marathon. I want to fucking stop. It feels uncomfortable, but being able to just sit there and be like, hold on, wait, why do you want to stop? And I'm like, wait, I just don't want to be uncomfortable. Oh, okay, then I'm good. I can just keep going. It's fine. And I did keep going and it did get better. And that was like at mile 16. So I still had 10 miles to go. And those 10 miles looked totally different than that one moment in time where I wanted to stop. But had I just given up and quit right there, I would have never felt those next 10 miles and I would have never finished. Another thing that I took away from the marathon was that you have to be able to separate yourself and almost talk yourself off a ledge in a sense. You are going to be your biggest roadblock, shall I say? Your biggest roadblock. A lot of people think that it's all these other things. It's going to be you, because you are going to convince yourself after a long day that you don't want to go do this, that you're tired, you want to stop, whatever. You're going to have to be able to control yourself and then also coach yourself out of it. Then you need to be able to build that sense of separation when you feel those emotions, because it's really hard to wrangle yourself back in, to remain calm, to remain composed when you feel pain, when you get irritated, when you feel uncomfortable. You have to be able to have this sense of calmness around you at all times, no matter how much you get rattled, because you're going to get rattled, especially on the path to achieving your goals, because the higher that you get up, regardless of what it is, the closer you get to physique, job, whatever, losing that fat, building that muscle, whatever the hell, the more you're going to have to remain solid in yourself and in what you believe in and in your discipline and in your consistency, because things are going to rattle you. In that marathon, I got rattled so many times, and something that I really struggled with when I was younger was that regulation, that solidness, especially when it came to my emotions. I would go through a breakup and think that the world was ending. I would feel pain or hurt and my whole like life would just fall apart, and I would just let it consume me. It's okay to feel pain, and because I was fearing feeling that pain or feeling those negative emotions because of how bad it hurt, I would run from it and I would use negative things to cope. So binging or binge drinking, not being sober, whatever it may be, simply because I didn't want to feel something. When I was more confident in myself and I was like, it's okay to feel these things, that I need to feel it in order to use it, in order to let myself grow from it, in order to learn from it, I have to feel it and use it to my advantage. I can't keep running and I can't keep avoiding situations that would possibly lead for me to get hurt, because it can also lead for me to grow. But when we're fearing those feelings or those emotions or anything that's uncomfortable, again, like I said, we're going to be reluctant to take opportunities that could have been the most amazing opportunities ever, that could have given us our dream lives. So I know that the things that I'm telling you that I'm taking away from this marathon are kind of jumbled up together, but they all are cohesive within each other, because they're all centered around letting uncomfortable things form you and transform you and shape you into the person it is that you want to become, that is going to be that of the physique that you're looking for. The physique that you want, the body that you want, all that stuff is tied to a person with a positive mindset, with someone who has that sense of mental fortitude, with someone who can handle hard situations. And becoming that person is, if I can make it as simple as possible, is literally throwing yourself to the wolves and telling yourself that you need to figure it out. But you're the one forcing yourself to do it. Because sometimes there's not going to be people in your corner. Sometimes there's not going to be anyone who understands what it is that you're going through. You kind of just have to force yourself. It is not going to be comfortable. There are going to be times when you're going to want to run away and hide and choose the easier option. But if I could tell you one thing, if you could get one thing from this video, it's when you feel uncomfortable, when you feel pain, when you are hurt, lean into it even further. Lean into the things that you're avoiding even more. Go one more in that workout that you want to skip because you're tired and you're exhausted and the last thing you want to do is be at the gym. If anything, when you show up to that workout, do a little bit more. Do an extra rep. Do more, because I promise you, not only is that instilling those principles of consistency and discipline, but it's proven that when you do the things, the hard things, not just the hard things, but the things that you're avoiding or the things that you don't want to do, you are expanding a certain part of your brain. Now, I learned this from Higher Up Wellness. I love him so much. I don't know the exact part of your brain, but I know he was referencing someone else. But when you do hard things, the things that you're avoiding, or something that you know you've been putting off, you are expanding a certain part of your brain that allows you to do more and more of those things and kind of decreases the barrier to entry to do those things. And when you're able to do things with less friction, you're able to do more, you're able to do it more often, and that is what's going to bring you closer to your goals. Another reason as to why I say do hard things and the things that you don't want to do. And lastly, something else that I kind of got from the marathon, this is more so in terms of the self-reflection that I was able to do with 5 hours of no music and minimal conversation. I used to be really insecure, super insecure. And that insecurity bled into the actions that I would take. And that's what yielded me the reality that I didn't like: being overweight because of the binging, not being able to have the relationship that I wanted because I was this person and I always knew what the relationship and the family and the life and all that stuff, I always knew what I wanted, but I always struggled to get it. I struggled to get it because I was really, really insecure. And instead of focusing on myself and forcing myself to grow, I would run and hide and seek comfort, whether it be binge eating, binge drinking, getting in a relationship, because that gave me some sense of security that I had someone there because I couldn't sit with my thoughts. I couldn't be alone. I couldn't face things. And so, because I felt that insecurity, not only did I have those bad habits, but also I would get in relationships with people who probably just weren't the best fit for me. And all those things that I did because of that insecurity slowed me down to get to my goals, to get to where I am now, the point at which I've always wanted to be. But I didn't realize it at the time. So I hope that in me saying this to you, you realize that maybe making decisions because of your insecurity or your frustration isn't actually bringing you closer to your goals, if you're unaware of it or not. It's actually slowing you down. Because those negative relationships, those negative habits that you have, I've posted videos about this before, but those slow you down on the way to your goals. Because there are so many different levers that you can pull to achieve your dream body. And one of those levers is your environment and your negative habits. A lot of us just focus on our calorie deficit or whatever, just focus on the goal in and of itself, that we don't peel back a few layers to really uncover who we are truly, because who we are is what's yielding us the current reality that we don't like, whether it be a negative relationship, negative self-talk, negative body image, whatever. If we're in a life that we don't enjoy or we're not the people that we want to be, it's usually due to a lot of insecurity that we're facing, and it's bleeding into our actions and the decisions that we make. And the only way to battle or combat insecurity is to prove to yourself that you are not a loser. And in order for me to not be that, because I had this idea of what I wanted to be, in order for me to fix that, I had to be that person. No one's going to view you how you want to be viewed if you were just not that. And that's what I really struggled with. So I was like, okay, instead of blaming everyone else around me, clearly I'm the problem. Clearly I'm insecure, I'm unhappy. The only way to do that is to become better. Okay, how do I become better? And I spent a lot of time trying to navigate that. And I found it in doing hard shit. Doing hard shit and struggling and realizing that that ego to me was only killing me. I needed to be weathered a little bit. I needed to be a little bit seasoned in order to have what it is that I wanted. And I didn't do those things. I just expected to have it without being the person, without doing the hard things. I just expected it. I had a little bit of, what's that word? What is that word? Entitlement. Entitlement. I had a lot of entitlement, thinking that I deserved that respect. I deserved that confidence. And I didn't have it because I wasn't it. I wasn't that. I wanted to be a certain person, but I wasn't holding myself to the standard of that person. And I thought that I could cheat my way there, or that I could get there without having to do the hard work and the suffering and all that kind of stuff. And it led to a lot of frustration, a lot of friction that I struggled with. Those are a few takeaways from the marathon. Some more simple ones that aren't going to take that long of an explanation are: you can go one more. Just go one more. Especially when the journey's long. The journey to the goals that you want, especially if they are goals that are worth anything, is going to be a long one. So instead of focusing on the journey in and of itself, which is going to make you reluctant to start, it's going to overwhelm you, just focus on the very next step. Okay, so it can get so overwhelming to take a step back and be like, okay, I have where I am now, and I want to be this completely radically different body. I want to be ripped. I'm 300 pounds overweight. When we just think about the two ends of the spectrum, it can make us very, very overwhelmed. What you need to do is just figure out where you want to be and then take a few steps back to the point at where you're at now and then focus on the very next step. So in the marathon, instead of focusing on, okay, I got to get to mile 26.2, I'm at mile 8, well, I'm fucking cooked. No. Focus on, okay, I just got to get to one more mile. I just got to get to one more mile. Okay, I've done a half marathon. I just got one more to go. All right, I'm at 16.2. I just got 10 miles left. Okay, I'm at mile 17. I just got to get to mile 20. Okay, I'm at mile 20. I just got to get to 22. Then I got 4 miles left. Oh my gosh, I'm at mile 22. I'm damn near there. Oh my gosh, I'm at mile 26. I'm damn near at the finish line. That's all you have to do. Another thing that's a bit short that I learned from the marathon is that you can do way more than you think. Would I ever be able to know if I could run 26.2 miles if I did not try? Would I be able to run 2 miles if I did not try? Would I be able to run 3 miles if I did not try? Too many times do I talk to you guys as well as reflect on my past and see all the times where I just assumed that I couldn't do something. When had I done hard things or had the courage to be uncomfortable or been like, it's okay if I feel uncomfortable, whether it be uncomfortability because I failed or uncomfortability because the task in and of itself was hard, it's all right to be uncomfortable. But because I didn't want to feel uncomfortable, it was just a cop-out. It was like, oh, I can't run 5 miles. Why would I even try? Because I just was lazy. I didn't want to do it. I didn't realize that doing that, trying that, forcing myself to either fail or succeed, putting my back against the wall was what was going to turn me into the person I wanted to be, the person that had the physique, the person that had the life, the person that had the relationship, the person that I've always wanted to become and wanted to be viewed as. Didn't realize that in order to become that, I had to let all these things shape me and form me instead of resisting it, running from it, fighting it. You will never know how much you can do if you do not try. If you never try, you will never know. And so many people are like, but what if people will be like, oh, but I tried this and what if it doesn't work? What if I do this and it doesn't work? What if I try a calorie deficit and if it doesn't work? What if I go to the gym for 2 weeks and it doesn't work? Let me be the one to tell you. There ain't nothing to it but to do it. You want to know if it's going to work? Well, the only way to find out is to do it. Only one way to find out if something works is to try it. And let me tell you one more thing that might give you a little bit more sense of security and maybe make you want to start or make you a little less scared to waste your time. When you try something, a calorie deficit, resistance training, a new split, losing weight, whatever it is that you're trying in order to reach your goal, you're either going to be successful. 9 times out of 10, you will be. You're just lazy or you're reluctant to start. You're trying to come up with an excuse because you don't want to try. Or that 1 time out of 10 where you're not successful or it doesn't work, you have data because you did something that you were trying for 2 weeks, 4 weeks, a week, whatever. You have a blueprint as to what didn't work. So you can make adjustments to that blueprint. I would recommend you making those adjustments conservatively so you can figure out what it is that really wasn't working. And then you can find what does work. Because everyone doesn't operate the same. Everyone's bodies, everyone's lives, everyone's mind, all of those things operate differently. In order to find out what works for you, find out what other people are doing and try a bunch of different things. When it comes to coaching my clients, every single person gets a different strategy and a different approach because every single person is different psychologically, physiologically, and the lifestyles that they live are all wildly different. And those 3 things will determine what is most optimal for them because like I said in the last video, the most optimal thing for a certain person is going to be the one that they're most likely to adhere to 99% of the time or the most likely be consistent to. That being said, guys, that is everything that I have for you in today's video. I want to, again, reiterate that this video is not about running at all. Maybe just a little bit, but that's not the main premise of the video. It is to encourage you to constantly pursue growth. If you want to work with me one-to-one to help you build your dream physique and get you there, get you from point A to point B being your dream physique, your dream life, becoming the person that it is that you want to be, I will leave the application of that in the description of this video. If I do have spots available and if you're a good fit, I will personally be contacting you to let you know that I would love to be your coach, track all your metrics, keep track of all the data that you show me within the weeks that we work together so that I can make the most efficient strategy to get you where you want to be so that not only do you get your dream physique, but you can also keep it. If you want to see more of me or personally message me, I will link my Instagram in the description of this video as well. I post more about myself there. I post more about my clients there, my relationship with them, as well as what I'm training for next, which is still kind of in the works. I love my life, and I do not say that to brag, but mainly because I know that the reason I feel that way has a lot to do with you guys constantly supporting me. I'm so incredibly thankful. There will never be enough words for me to tell you how much I love you guys. That being said, guys, I love you so much. Do hard shit, be confident, have the courage to be uncomfortable, but most importantly, if you're contemplating starting, start now. There's only so much time. You cannot save it. You can only spend it, so quit freaking wasting it. If you are attempting to build your dream physique on your own, or you feel inclined to start your fitness journey, which I definitely think you should start your fitness journey, I will link the subscription button to my channel here, as well as my most recent upload right over here somewhere, so that you guys can look at all those videos there. I have different videos about nutrition, training, mindset, mentality, motivation, motivation, becoming the person that it is that you want to be, being better, whatever the hell it is. All those videos can help you. A little bit of a pump check before we go. I don't have a pump right now. I'm actually a little bit under the weather, but thank y'all so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video.